Trevor Sinclair is with us. Trevor, Pochettino is out of PSG, whether he comes back here or not. Simon said yesterday, were you being cheeky with this, or were you being serious? What would be the perfect kind of berth, the most suitable berth next if he was to come back to the Premier League? Simon suggested Southampton. Is that too harsh?
I also said Villa as well.
And Villa?
If the Gerrard project.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Villa's an available club for him.
No, if the Gerrard project doesn't go well.
Yeah, the club have invested in Gerrard, and you look at the top of the table, and that's repeated throughout the teams. And I was looking at it yesterday. Obviously, City with Pep, Liverpool, Klopp, Chelsea. I think Thomas Tuchel winning the Champions League has given them a bit of time there. Tottenham and Conte, Arsenal, I think, again, similar to Liverpool. Arteta, he's got his players in now. He's expected to do something this season.
We were making an argument. The argument was, is he now destined back for the Premier League? And if so, where? So then when you're running the list down the same way that I did yesterday, you're finding it difficult to find a space for him because you could see him at Arsenal if Arteta fails, but obviously his relationship with Tottenham might prejudice that particular dynamic. Yeah. So then you start to move. Does he go to Newcastle? Surely not, because Eddie Howe's earned some currency there. Yeah. So now you're sort of struggling to find out where to put him.
I mentioned Leicester just because I think
that's a good
they
shout.
Underachieved last year under Brendan.
And that's a good shout.
Brendan's had a lot of ins and outs this summer, and I'm sure that the fans would like to think there'd be a lot more ins before the start of the season. But if it doesn't start well for Brendan, that's a big club that has got big expectancy and big pressure. And if Brendan doesn't start the season well, I think that could be a situation where it's a big enough club to interest Pochettino, but also it's a club where if they don't achieve, then
but he's not a top six manager in the Premier League under the auspices of what we currently got. That's the kind of argument we were running yesterday, isn't it?
But I don't think it's because he's lost a lot of faith with people, because if you look at what he's achieved, 65.5% win ratio, he's won the I know the objective is to win the Champions League, and that's why he's only been there 18 months and he's been relieved of his services. But his 65% win ratio, he's had to manage loads of egos. He's won 2 cup competitions and won the league. He's not much more he could have done.
I'm kind of Trevor on that.
I kind of understand that logic.
But he lost 14 in 84, Simon.
And so you would if you managed in Ligue 1. But here's the thing: he agitated from the outset, about leaving Paris Saint-Germain. He was indexing himself. It would be him and his agents indexing himself to the Man United job 6 months into his PSG job. He has reaped the whirlwind of not appearing to be overly focused on the PSG job and allowing himself to be indexed to other jobs, and not ultimately producing a team that did anything more than Thomas Tuchel's team did.
Yeah, you look at the players. I mean, I don't think as a football model goes, PSG is the right way. And people say they're very much like Manchester City. The way Manchester City's squad's orchestrated is completely different. Forget about the finance. I'm talking about how the team is set up. When you look at the PSG side, you've got Mbappe, Messi, Neymar. You've got Verratti, you've got Ramos, and you've got Donnarumma, and then you've got a few other players that are kind of bit part players.
Right.
So for me, it's a team. It's almost like a team of Galacticos. It's from the 90s with Real Madrid or the Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah. It's just a few stars put together, and then they'll go and win the game.
So has managing PSG become the impossible job?
Well, unless you can win the Champions League, yes. Because that's the main objective that you're brought to a football club. Now, you look at the boy that brought in, Galtier. He was at Nice last year. They finished 5th. He's been a manager for quite a while. But what's he going to bring to PSG more than what Pochettino? Absolutely nothing.
Well, under him, Lille, with Jose Fon, won Ligue 1. And nobody could believe it at the time.
Yeah, that was in a time when PSG were all over the place.
Passport to big things. Yeah, that's got him in the limelight now. The question is, what can he do differently at PSG to get them over the line to win the Champions League? And if he doesn't, he'll go the same way as Tuchel and as Pochettino.
I can't see them winning it unless they change their model, unless they start to get a proper team where you're basing it on a good defensive line. Not just getting Galacticos into playing that forward line and the superstars and expecting them to win you games. You've got to be able to keep clean sheets. You've got to be able to defend properly.
Who's going in? Is it Dan?
Galtier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. Who found work with it at Lille and was
last year
more recently at Nice.
Yeah, he finished 5th. He did okay. But
it shows, Simon, money can't buy success.
Well, it depends what success is. I mean, ultimately, winning. A lot of teams haven't got the big one. It took lots of sides a long time. It took Manchester United a long time to win the Champions League from 92 when they started to rev their engines up to 99 when they first won it.
Yeah.
And they only just won that. Bayern Munich should have actually won that game. I know the record books will say they won. So you look at it and say, with all of Man United's financial power, how many times have they actually won the Champions League?
Yeah.
There's something unique about the Champions League, which is why a side like Real Madrid, that wasn't the best side in the tournament, managed to overcome all the sides that were better than them. Chelsea,
Trevor, whether you
Man
like it
City,
or not,
Liverpool.
I've got to tell you, there are similarities between PSG and City because they can't win the Champions League.
That's your opinion. I think Manchester City are getting closer. PSG got knocked out in the quarterfinals. I think they're getting further away, and they keep on tearing up the model and starting again with a new manager. I don't think that's the way forward. I don't think that's a football model that works. You look at Watford now; they keep on sacking managers, bringing new managers.
But City
they're a yo-yo team.
City were in the final the year before last, and they got knocked out in the semi-finals. The year before that, they got knocked out by Lyon.
Consistently
and
getting
PSG
very close.
were in the final the year before.
They're consistently
so
getting very close.
They're both in the same.
And they've still got the same manager. So within that time where PSG have been through 3 or 4 managers, Manchester City have had one manager. So I think they've got a different model. You look at the way, all right, they've signed a lot of players and spent a lot of money to catch up. But if you look at the model more recently, where the players that are coming in are kind of balancing up with the players that are going out.
Okay, that's fine, because on this particular subject matter, Man City have got some consistency and some continuity because they've backed Guardiola because he keeps on producing a side that wins the Premier League, which is undoubtedly viewed in most people's minds as the most difficult league to win. If you put Pep Guardiola into PSG and he didn't achieve what PSG wanted, i.e. a Champions League win, would they be as tolerant as the Man City board have been?
It's a great question.
No.
So he's fortunate that he chose the right club to be at then, isn't he?
Because I think there's a bit of foundation, a bit of old football business knowledge going into the football model at Manchester City, where you back a manager, you give him time to work it, and if it doesn't succeed, you continue to back him, because that understanding, that communication is always both ways, and they back him. And
I agree with you. I agree with you, but PSG must have a reason for flying a different direction. They want to dominate football. They must be looking at Man City saying, we've got a manager over here that we patronise. They've kept him in place for 6 years. Why would we do something different? Because they can see what works. They can see that Klopp works. They're not blind. We aren't the only ones with vision. They can see Klopp being in space for 6 years and not winning anything for the first 2 or 3 and suddenly getting some rhythm.
That's PSG's model. If they don't win the Champions League,
it's a long one, isn't it?
Well, of course it is. Well, but that's the difference between the two
Tuchel's come and gone.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.